Instant reaction to the epic comeback of the Miami Hurricanes beating Cal 39-38. Woo! What a
My
game. I'm still trying to gather my thoughts here. I don't know exactly what happened. I feel like it was a dream. It's 3 o'clock in the morning over here on the East Coast. Unbelievable ending to this game. This will go down as one of the greatest games in Miami Hurricanes history. The Hurricanes come back from 25 points down in the second half to come back and win. Their largest comeback since 2003 against the Florida Gators back in the old Orange Bowl. Cass, C2, you saw it all start to finish.
Yeah,
What,
I
what,
am
what's your first
speechless.
reaction
I
to
am
this game?
low key speechless right now because, not gonna lie, did not think the game would go any way how it went. But it went down and Miami did it again, back to back. Like,
Back to
wow.
back.
Wow. Like, did you see that last drive?
Yeah,
Did you see it?
that last drive was amazing.
Kim,
Um,
Xavier Restrepo,
wow.
Cam Ward.
Yeah, yeah. It was unbelievable. It was epic. I believe that they started from their 8 yard line. It was 92 yards, and Xavier Restrepo 77 yards down the sideline, cut it back up the field, and I thought he was going to score. I mean, the
Go
way that
to.
he just was jetting down the field, I was like, wow, this dude right here is the X factor. X is the man. Got him in the
X
red
is that go
zone.
to consistent guy all the time. He
Yeah,
made those 163 yards where every yard was crucial this game. Xavier was the go to make huge plays. Like that play, that last 77-yard play was a pivotal play for them to get down the field and to eventually score that touchdown to get ahead.
yeah, yeah.
Count on him every time. You can count on X every time.
Definitely. X had critical plays throughout this game. He scored
Seven.
on that 2 point conversion. Let's not forget he scored on the 2 point
He
conversion.
did.
Miami
He
won by
did.
1 point in this game, and he also converted on a fourth down in this game. That last drive, though, once they got into the red zone, you thought like, okay, well, they're just gonna punch this thing in, and then all of a sudden there was this unsportsmanlike penalty on Isaiah
Right.
Horton. I didn't really see the play, but I was like, whoa, so this is what the refs are going to try to do, I guess, to
There
Miami
were
here.
multiple unsportsmanlike conduct called. The last one was
Yeah.
from Horton. I personally thought he was just trying to get up. I'm not sure, but there were multiple unsportsmanlike conduct called on Miami tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And man, that third down play to Damian Martinez, where again, Ward buying time in the pocket, finds Damian Martinez. I thought he actually scored on the play. I thought it was a touchdown, but
No,
stepped
I
out
knew
of
he stepped
bounds,
out. I knew he
first
stepped out.
down,
Hmm.
and then it just led to Elijah Arroyo reaching over the goal line for the game time score. Andy Borregales kicks essentially the game winning kick. Cal gets the ball back with a few seconds left. Kiko Maonoa, interception, ball game. What a game,
Absolutely.
Cass. This was unbelievable. I was counting them out. I was counting them out. If anybody was watching me on my live watch, they were like, damn, I put them out of the playoff. I was like, they're gonna be a bubble team. They lose one more game. They're probably, count them out of the ACC race. I was talking all of that. You
It was
know,
what 28-10 at the time, and I'm like, this is not how this was
35 to
supposed.
10.
It was 35-10.
Yeah.
This is not how the game was supposed to go.
Right.
Initially, I know Cal is a well coached team. I knew it was going to be a coach's game too. I knew that not going in, it was going to be a coach's game. But at the same time, like I didn't think it was going to be like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Miami got out coached though, like for the most part in this game. They got out coached, out executed for the most part of this game.
Especially
I
at
think
the
it was just
beginning.
yeah.
Gildry, Coach Gildry, defensively, he got out coached.
Yeah.
I can say that Gildry could not, especially like let's go back to the beginning, right? In
Okay.
the beginning when Mish was getting beat out, he needed help in the backfield. He needed help. He got beat out twice. Cal was making really big plays really early on.
Yeah.
They needed to make changes defensively to stop that. Like that,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, Gildry did get out coached. I still think even with this win, he got out coached. Kiko, kind of saved the day with that. But at the end of the day, this can't continue to happen. Like I can't continue to have a heart attack every single
Yeah,
time.
I think it was part coaching and part just execution. I
Okay,
I
no problem.
think part execution for me, it was just it was just terrible in that first half, like both sides of the ball. I felt like Miami was just being out coached and out executed. And it was just the sheer will, and I think just the fact that Miami has better athletes than Cal
Mm-hmm.
was the reason why Miami was able to just kind of come back in this game. Cal just kind of got tight. They played a little conservative. They were trying to run the clock out, and those things are recipes for a comeback. And that's exactly
Absolutely.
kind of what
What
happened
happened?
in
Mm-hmm.
this game, man. It was just Miami scored 3 touchdowns in that fourth quarter to come back in this game. Cam Ward wasn't himself in that first half at all. I thought he made the worst throw that I've seen him make on that pick six
I concur.
this season. That was a terrible throw, terrible decision. I don't know what was going through his head on that play. And then Cal scored again after that touchdown, after that pick
Another
six.
big
So
play.
you
So once
kind of thought
Williams
that
did
this game was done at that point.
after that pick six, so the pick six definitely did change the momentum of the game. Cal did capitalize off that pick six first, and then they scored right after that. But with that being said, if they did not have that pick six, Miami would have still been up. You know what I mean? Like the game would have ended at how it would have ended. But he pulled it together.
Yeah,
You know
he
what I
did.
mean? He didn't flinch. Still did 430. What it was, 437 yards tonight.
437 yards, 35 of 53. I'm pretty sure that's a season high in attempts for him. 66%.
Then
I believe
completions.
that's his lowest
Hmm.
of the season. But he counted for 3 touchdowns in this game. Let's not forget that 24-yard touchdown run that he had. Very
He
similar to
did.
kind of last week. He had a touchdown run to kind of help this team get back in this game. So even though Ward, I mean, I was counting him out of the Heisman race and everything. You should have heard me on the live
Dang,
watch, but
Benjamin.
then he came back. He proved me wrong,
But
because
also too, don't forget that he didn't have his first touchdown pass. This was the longest until the fourth quarter. He didn't have. This was the first time he didn't have first a touchdown pass in the game until the fourth quarter, which was crazy to me. The
yeah,
connection between him and the receivers, especially like Sam Brown, Jacoby George early on, they were not connecting at all. It took for someone like a Xavier Restrepo to step up and make those big plays in order to turn the game around
yeah,
for the offense
yeah.
because it just wasn't. I mean, Horton also played into that as well, but early on, with some drop passes, some forced throws, it was just not looking good offensively early on.
Yeah, the only bright spot early on was Mark Fletcher. Mark Fletcher
Mark,
was was phenomenal in this game. I felt like he should have gotten more carries in this game. At one point, he was averaging
I
I want
agree.
to say 9, 10 yards a carry. He was just running hard, running with authority, just hitting the holes like fast and not. He's got a different style than Damian Martinez. Damian Martinez is more of a patient runner.
Absolutely.
He kind of waits for a hole to open up before.
I think they're closing up here. It's
Okay.
really late. Yeah, they're closing up here. So sorry.
Yeah, you could jump back on if you need to. But yeah, I thought that Mark Fletcher was the only bright spot to me in that first half. But Ward and Restrepo, they really showed up in that second half to engineer what's going to go down as one of the greatest comebacks in Miami Hurricanes history. Even defensively, I thought this was. I mean, they just gave up big plays in this game. I mean, at,
Absolutely.
at when you looked at the stats, you're like, man, this looks like either Miami's either up by a little bit, close game, or down by a little bit, but they were down by a lot. They were down by 25 points in this game, yet the stats were still very similar.
Not as exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can't say Bane was back. He came in first play, a tackle for loss for him. It was good to see Bane back in the game, and he did make some good plays as well.
Mhm.
I do want to shout out Simeon Barrow. He made some really big
Yes.
plays
In
towards the
that
end of the
second half,
game. Yeah, the
for
second
sure.
half definitely he stepped up, which they definitely needed. Someone defensively stepped up, but also Wesley Bissant. If we're talking about that hit, did you
Yes.
think that was a target hit? Be
Yeah,
honest.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was a very critical part in this game. When I saw it on replay, I thought it was targeting. When I saw it at live, I thought it was legal. I thought it was a legal hit. I thought it was a great hit, and the
But
fact
when
that
you
you got
saw it
you got
back,
two Dade County boys coming together, Miami Central versus Columbus, you
mm-hmm.
know, but then when I saw Fernando down for a little bit, I was concerned. I was hoping that, he was okay. And then they started to review the play, and I was like, oh, that seems like it's targeting, and just knowing what the refs do, uh, the ACC refs, kind of they're, not the best. I thought they were going to rule it targeting and Miami wasn't going to have a chance or even a chance to
To
come
even
back in
keep
this game.
continuing that drive, right?
Yeah, because if they ruled it targeting, it's a penalty, and basically the game is over at that point. They didn't. They force a punt, and then we get an epic comeback drive by Cam Ward, Strepo, Arroyo, Martinez, all making plays. So that was a very critical play in this game. I was happy for Wesley Bissant because that would have been crushing for him for the game to kind of end that way. So I think Miami's fortunate to have that call kind of go in their
Their
favor
way.
because it
Hmm.
it could have
Absolutely.
easily gone the other way.
Can we talk about the calls tonight? Right. First off, you guys let us know. Was that a targeting call? What did you think about those calls? But what did you think about the calls all tonight? I feel like a lot of plays were reviewed. I feel like it was a lot of, even the commentator was very uh I wouldn't say he was for Cal. I don't know who he was, but some of the calls were just okay, what's going on here? Like the unsportsmanlike conduct calls, the just the calls tonight in general, from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, I mean, the unsportsmanlike conduct calls I felt like they were maybe a little excessive. I mean, perhaps the refs were just trying to kind of send a message to the players so it won't get out of hand because
Right.
at some points it was just like, okay, they're really being petty. I saw one of the Cal defenders like grab a towel of Mark Fletcher's and like threw it away, and that ended up being a call. I know Jacoby George had a call go against him as well, sportsmanlike conduct.
Still don't know what happened on that play with Jacoby George.
Yeah, so yeah, I thought I thought the refs were just kind of trying to send a message to the players so it didn't get out of hand.
Okay,
It's
that's
it's a,
fair.
it's a game where it seemed like it was getting emotional, and I think they were just trying to send a message to the players. I think overall
Cal
it
came out
was
very
okay.
aggressive though. They came
They
out very
called him.
aggressive. Yeah, Cal. I'm sorry. I was just saying that Cal came out very aggressively. I seen a lot of banter after the play. I seen a lot of it. Even early on, that late hit on Cam Ward, they didn't call it, but the next
Sure.
play they called something on Miami. So it's just like little things like that. I was just curious at what you guys thought about, or what you guys thought about the calls that were made. It's
Yeah,
just this
yeah.
game was so crazy. This game was crazy.
I mean the
Every other play was a flag. I'm like, what's the flag for now? What is this
yeah.
flag for?
I mean, flags are flags, you know. I mean, I say that as in the penalties hurt Miami. They had over 100 yards in penalty yards. You know, you never
Right.
want to have that. Regardless if you want to blame it on the refs or not. You know, they are what they are, penalties. You know, you try to do what you can to avoid them. I definitely have to shout out Horton. I see somebody in the comments said something about Horton, and I want to shout out him as well. We have 9 catches for 83 yards and a touchdown. He nearly had another one as well. Another thing I want to say about Ward, I feel like in that first half, I felt like he wasn't taking what the defense was giving him. You know, I felt like he could have checked down a whole lot more, or he could have tried to run for first downs. But I felt like he was trying to go for the home
He didn't
run a
force
little
it.
bit too
He didn't
much.
force it much.
Yeah. So he mentioned that in his post game a little bit on Sports Center. So I think that's something that he's going to work on with Dawson here in this bye week.
Hmm.
Um, but overall, what are your thoughts on the team just kind of going forward here after 6 games, going into the bye week, and their chances of reaching the ACC championship game?
Well, first off, they definitely need this bye week. I felt, especially going into the Cal game, a lot of people were raving about, going to the West Coast, the jet lag, and all this stuff. And I'm like, these guys play some, especially that Virginia Tech game, coming off that game, and then going into a West Coast game. That's a lot. Playing 5 straight games into this one as well. It is a lot, but they were able to pull it off.
Yeah,
They were
yeah,
able to pull it off. I don't know how many times they can continue to win games like this.
right,
I will say this cannot keep happening, especially
sure,
if you're trying to make it to Charlotte.
yeah,
Um, but going forward, I know after the bye week they have Louisville, which is another big contender. Then we have Florida State, but they can't keep having games like this. You
right,
know what I mean?
exactly.
This
Because
can't.
yeah, these games, your luck is going to run out probably at some point if you keep playing these close games like this. That's definitely a point that I agree with you with. The other thing that this game taught me is that every game's going to be tough. Every game on this schedule from now on is going to be tough. But that doesn't
I,
mean that Miami can't win every game, obviously, at this point. At this point, I think Miami can win every game on their schedule. And
Absolutely.
it's not because they're such a superior team, I think, than every team on their schedule, which they kind of are when it comes to talent. But when you got a quarterback like Cam Ward and you got a team that believes that they can win because they've done it now twice, I feel like they can come back and win these type of games again. But I do think every game is going to be tough here. I think
Right.
every team that they play is going to give them their absolute best shot. And
Because they can, like, they're able to see what Miami can do. Come
yeah,
back. What was the comeback? 25 points.
yeah, 25
Come,
points. It's the
come
most
back from
in
25.
FBS.
in a
Most in the
quarter,
FBS this season, most since 2003 by Miami.
which is crazy,
Yeah,
crazy work. But like you said, going forward, the games will be tough. They cannot afford to continue to be behind like they were and come back.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just don't see that continuing to happen.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Oh, two more things I think they need to clean up. Where was the pressure? They weren't putting no pressure on Mendoza. I'm not sure why. They only got, I believe, they only got 2 sacks in this game by Simeon Barrow, and tackling was kind of an issue too in this game. There was a
I've
couple
seen
of
some
missed
missed
tackles
tackles.
in this game
I'm
that
sorry to say, I'm sorry, Kiko had some missed tackles tonight too,
yeah, yeah.
and
So that has to be cleaned
those
up
have to be
for
cleaned
sure
up as well.
during this bye
Hmm.
week. But hey, 6-0 is 6-0, and Miami is undefeated. 6-0 for the first time since 2017, and we'll try to go 7-0 after the bye week when they travel to Louisville.
Should be interesting, man. What are your thoughts?
I mean, this team's resilient. This team is
Absolutely.
resilient, and like I was saying, I was doubting this team. I was like, oh, this game is done. You know,
You weren't the only one, Benjamin. Trust me.
yeah, yeah. I was down this
I
team.
saw it all on Twitter.
Yeah, I will never doubt this team again as long as Cam Ward is
It's
under
the
center
center.
for this
Give that
team.
man his Heisman right now. Give that man his Heisman right. But no, Cam definitely. I said if he successfully get down in this drive and they score, that's a Heisman candidate drive. That's the Heisman candidate quarterback right there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I think that's enough for our instant reaction for this game. It is 3:24
Oh my
a.m.
god. I'm
and
like standing in the middle of I don't even know where I am right now.
yeah,
They kicked me out
be
of the
safe.
restaurant. I'm heading home now,
Yeah,
but I don't even know how if I'm going to be able to sleep. I was sleepy maybe like 2 hours ago. Now I'm like wide awake. Thanks, Miami.
yeah, yeah. Thanks, Miami. That's a great way to wrap it up. All right, she is C2 Cass Clayton. Make sure you follow her
New
on
era
social
C2.
media. New Era C2. You see it right there on the screen. Of course, I'm Marcus Benjamin, publisher of CanesCounty.com. Make sure you subscribe to the website. You see that scrolling at the bottom for free. Use the promo code Miami30. Until the next instant reaction.
Peace and love.